Welcome, and thank you for joining us for today's DealerUn webinar, the Loyalty Marketing Webinar. My name is Eliana Raggio, and I'll be your moderator today. And today's webinar is being presented by DealerUn. And for anyone who isn't familiar with DealerUn, well, we're an award-winning website development company and digital agency, best known for our SEO, our customer service, and our award-winning website designs, including the newly launched Chameleon Responsive Website Platform. We're so committed to lead conversion, optimization, and customer service that DealerUn is still the only company in the industry to offer a money-back lead guarantee program. So does your website company guarantee you a 50% lift in leads? Well, then maybe you should check us out at DealerUn.com. And we have a great show in store for you today. We're so very pleased to have my old friend J.D. Rucker as our presenter today. J.D. Rucker spent a decade on the retail side of the car business before coming over to the vendor side in 2007. Since then, he has been a leader in the development of automotive social media strategies, taking on the mad scientist role of applying techniques from other industries to become effective methodologies for car dealers. In 2013, he founded Dealer Authority, an automotive social media firm dedicated to focusing on quality rather than quantity for his clients' digital marketing presence. He's an avid writer, contributor, blogger, and traveler, and he can be reached at jdrucker@dealerauthority.com. Now, during the presentation, if you have any questions, please use the question feature located on the corner of your screen to submit them. At the end of the presentation, we'll answer those questions of general interest. If we're unable to get to your question live, don't worry, we're going to respond by email later today. Also, don't forget a link to download a copy of the webinar recording will also be emailed to you later today for your reference, and please feel free to share it with friends and colleagues. Also, I want to let you know that DealerUn is going to be at the upcoming Digital Dealer 17 on September 23, 24, 25 in Vegas, baby. So stop by our booth 102 and take the opportunity to check out the new responsive website platform, Chameleon. You'll see what the future of dealer websites will look like. You'll learn why Google recommends that your dealership's website be built on a responsive platform, and well, you can check out the sexiest darn dealer websites you've ever seen. So if you're going to be a digital dealer, make sure you stop by booth 102. I'm going to be there, and I'd love to meet you. And while you're there, check out the future of dealership websites and check out these speaking sessions from 4 of our best and brightest at DealerUn. You don't want to miss it. And we have great news for all you attendees out there today. Our good friends at Dealer Authority, they're going to be giving away an amazing prize today on the webinar. One of you lucky webinar attendees is going to win 1 month of free Facebook customer loyalty advertising for your dealership. What a great prize. It's a $550 value. Now, you have to be on the live broadcast to win it, though, so just stay tuned for the details after JD's presentation, and you could be scoring this awesome prize today. And if that wasn't enough, also at the conclusion of the webinar, you're going to receive a short survey. So fill it out, because we're always looking for quality feedback from our audience. Today we're going to randomly select a couple of people from all the completed surveys to also win some Google prizes. Let's have some fun today. So let's get started. Let's listen to J.D. Rucker as he talks about the Loyalty Marketing Webinar. J.D. Rucker, I keep calling you my old friend, but really, we know you're just a baby. You have a baby face and everything. How are you?
Baby face. Yeah, I still get. I'm great, and thank you for having me. I still get people who get surprised when I tell them that I'm not 50. So I appreciate it, but the years haven't been kind. But it's okay. It's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. We got a lot to cover, so I'm going to dive right into it if that's okay with you.
Absolutely.
We could reminisce for a little while, though.
I would love to reminisce, but you're right. We do have a lot of information to get to. I see your Skype is still on. I don't know if you might want to turn that on. You might want to turn that off, maybe, if you get a chance.
No, I know. It's very unprofessional of me to have done that, but we had some fun technical difficulties earlier, so we'll get that squared away right now.
Oh, good. Well, while he's doing that, audience, I want to let you know, we're going to be giving away a prize. You want to pay attention. It's not an easy question that he's asking at the end for the giveaway, and we are going to have a couple of poll questions. I really hope that you will get involved and answer those poll questions. While you're at it, if you want to tweet out some of the little nuggets that JD is going to be strewing all day today, well, please use the hashtag DealerOnWebby. And hey, if you want to tag me in it too, I am at Eliana Raggio. Hopefully by now you know how to spell my name. And JD, Why don't you tell the good folks here today the kinds of awesomeness that you're going to be talking about?
We're going to be talking about everything that has to do with loyalty. Okay, so today, loyalty is different. Those of us who've been in the car business for long enough realize that things have changed, but I don't think they've changed as much as we think they have. We'll be able to take this and really apply it to a loyalty culture at the dealership. We brought on Subi Ghosh as our VP of Marketing, and she's really, in her youth, she has opened up my eyes to a lot of different things when it comes to loyalty, when it comes to the way that the dealership culture can really guide, change things. We don't need to be as cynical as I think a lot of us have become. Yes, there was a golden age of the car business where it was so easy to sell cars and make tons of money. That age didn't end, it just changed, and I'm going to be talking about that. We'll go into some details as far as what you can actually do. What are some of the things, the strategies that dealers are doing today to apply true digital marketing to their loyalty, customer loyalty programs, and then we'll do some Q&A work. So let's start. So again, depending on how long you've been in the business, you know that things have changed. You know that if you're selling cars in the 80s, even in the 90s, you know, your standard shopper would come in and you know, they might call ahead, but for the most part they'd come in and you'd grab a sheet of paper, you'd walk around cars, the family would be there, and you'd be looking around. It'd be kind of exciting, and you're showing them numbers, you're showing them cars you're test driving and all this stuff, and everybody's pretty happy. You know, there was always the upset customers, but for the most part it was an exciting experience. That's been in many ways replaced. Today your standard customer, they're doing it on their phone, they're doing it on their computer. They're shopping dozens of dealers before they even make contact, if they make contact at all. A lot of times they won't make contact. If you're an internet manager, a BDC director, you know the frustration of answering questions and people just coming straight in and not even letting them know that they've gone to the website or seen it on Auto Trader or communicated with the internet department. It's frustrating. You know, we've got kind of a cynical group of people today. But there's one thing that definitely has not changed, and this is the part that we're going to be applying, we're going to learn how to utilize today. And that's the fact that regardless of whether it was in the 80s or whether it's 2014 or 2015, at that moment when you're selling them the car and they're buying it, they're getting into it, they're about to drive away, they got accepted, whatever, they're still ecstatic. They're still at the dealership. They can't buy it online. I mean, they can, but it's still few and far between. They got to come in to drive the car, sign the paperwork, and when they drive off, if we've done our job, they still leave the exact same way they did 10, 20, 30, 40 years ago. They're ecstatic, and this is what we have to take advantage of. This is what we want to be able to do, but we're not. And that's the problem. That's what we're going to address today. What's happening? You know, what is the buying cycle? What are the cycle of automotive needs? Not just with sales, but also with service. You know, you pick a place wherever you want to start. That's where somebody is at any given point. They're either happy and they're driving their car, or they need to have their car serviced. They need to buy a new car. So what do? They shop around. We know that. They go online. We've heard all the statistics. They go to 100 and 200 million websites, and they shop around for weeks, months, years, whatever. We all hear about it. Then they find the right dealer or dealers, and they usually will set aside 3, 4, maybe 5 that they'll stop by, but let's face it, it's just like it was before. They'll buy it from either the first or the second one in most cases. Then they'll drive around for a while, maybe a year, maybe 2 years, however long, but then they have needs. And so they start to need to buy again, they start to need to service again, so then they shop around, and then they find the right dealers. You get the picture, okay? It's a cycle. And the problem with this cycle when it comes to loyalty is that it always starts over. Whatever point they're at, whenever it's time for them to now buy a car, get their car serviced, they go online and they shop around. We want to try to eliminate that. So which part of this cycle gets the least amount of your attention? You know, we want to be found. Okay, if they need us, we want to be found. So we're putting the effort into getting more customers, into putting out specials, into doing PPC and banner ads and everything we can. We're getting on Auto Trader. We're getting on Craigslist, whatever. Or we're doing all that kind of marketing because we're trying to acquire new customers. But the part where you're not paying attention, for the most part, when I say you, I'm talking about 90% of dealers. You're not paying as much attention on that far left one when they're happily driving. Okay, and that's something that needs to change dramatically. While they're in their car, after they've bought, whether it's 2 weeks, 2 months, 2 years after they bought, you need to be in contact with them. You need to give them a reason to want to do business with you and you alone. And it changes when you're able to do that. This used to be, again, very commonplace, but it was based on need. People didn't have as many options before the internet, before this new digital age, before social media, before smartphones, before all that stuff. They just didn't have as many options. So we want to try to return to that. So our goal is to take it. We don't want it to be a cycle, okay? We want it to be where you're the center. You are their dealer. When you can take that cycle and turn it into a relationship, when they need service, they come to you. When they're happily driving, you're still in contact with them. Okay? When it's time for them to buy a car, then you're the one they want to buy the car from. And then last but not least, we can eliminate that whole second or third or fourth option. They should buy from you and only you. The only reason they shouldn't buy from you is if, for whatever reason, they're switching brands. That's a whole other issue. If they're switching from, a Hyundai to a Nissan, there's not a lot you can do about that, but you can still try to get in front of them. It's called a reconquesting. It's actually a relatively new concept, but we'll get to that. We'll get to that some other time. I don't think I can get that into the meeting, but I want to first start off before we get into some more details. I want to get some information from you guys. So I'm going to put up a poll question. Actually, Eliana is going to put the poll question up, and let's see where you guys stand right now.
I think that's a great idea. All right, audience, check out your screen right now. First of 2 poll questions is in front of you, and we want to know, how satisfied are you with your current customer loyalty strategies at your dealership? Please select one of the following answers. Is it, ho, we rock? And of course, you have to put up the pinky and the first finger if you do that. Is it, we do better than most, but we always have room to improve? Or the third option is, we're average, we do okay. We're not great, we're not bad though. The fourth option is, we really aren't doing that well. Definitely need help. And then the last one is, oh Lord, do we need help? You are absolutely making no bones about it. Your customer loyalty strategies definitely could only get better. So once we get a majority of those votes in, we'll close the poll and we'll share the results. And I want to thank you in advance for voting in the poll questions. We really, really appreciate it. Oh, you people are funny when you write to me. I read all of your comments. I just want you to know. All right, let's close this poll and share the results. All right, no one today, J.D. Rucker and my valued audience, no one today thinks that they rock at customer loyalty right off the bat. The majority, though, 44% says, we do better than most, but yes, they admit that there's room to improve. 40% of today's audience say that they're just average. 12% of today's audience said that they're not doing that well. And 4% of today's audience admit wholeheartedly that boy, oh boy, do they need help. J.D. Rucker, what do you have to say about that?
I've got to say that it's about what I expected. I think that this is, I thought there would be a few that were rocking. It is discouraging, but hopefully there will be a lot more in that top category shortly after learning what we're learning today, and then talking to just various people. It's funny because people asked me in the last couple of days, what are you doing a loyalty marketing? You're not doing loyalty marketing. You don't sell that as a product, and we don't. But that doesn't mean that it's not important. It doesn't mean that we don't know a lot about it. I've never gone big game hunting. I've never been to Africa. I've never gone spelunking. I've never done deep sea diving or anything crazy like that. But I've spent the good portion of the last 2 decades either selling cars or helping others sell cars. And so it's important to me to focus on this, because this is the part that I think the majority of dealers are missing. We go through and we spend so much time, money, and effort trying to get new customers when the low-hanging fruit is right there. Keeping customers is easier than we think, and it really starts off with a mentality. Okay, there's a mentality that has to change, and I'm preluding a lot of this stuff. The prelude is important because you've really got to buy in, and it's not just you. If you're listening on this webinar, the dealership in general has to buy in on the concept, because I think we've lost We've lost the gumption to believe that it's true. First and foremost, and this is something that applies to what I learned, at the dealership when I was working. I've worked at several dealerships, and I've seen some that were successful and some that were not. The last dealership I worked with, Diffie Ford Lincoln Mercury in El Reno, Oklahoma, they were incredible at loyalty. Okay, I mean, their customers would never shop anywhere else. And even though, and this was in the digital age. It's not like this was back in the 80s. I'm not that old yet, but yeah, it was amazing watching what they were able to do. And one of the things that they did, and one of the things that dealers today need to start doing, is they need to start thinking of customers in a different way. We all have our sales customers. They're the people that we go and we buy cars from, right? And hopefully most dealerships have a good batch of service customers. But there's something missing today that wasn't missing before, and that's the Bigfoot. That's the mythical beast. That's the all-around customer that no matter what, I mean, they're not just they're not just buying their car and having their car serviced at the same dealership. They're having all of their cars serviced. They're bringing their brother in, and they're having their brother's Toyota serviced at your Ford store because they trust you and your dealership and the way that you treat people and the way that you get things done. They're making sure that their sons and daughters and mothers and fathers and husbands and wives are all getting everything done at the dealership. And they spend a lot of time there. These are the customers that you can build. Okay, it's not impossible, but you have to stop thinking of them as sales customers or service customers. You got to start thinking of them purely as customers. And if you can do that, then this mythical Bigfoot will actually be more commonplace. Now, most dealers will say, you know what, all of our customers do it. We're all there, and they all come back for service. Whenever we sell them, we sell them a car, and I would say 90% of them will come back. But if you look at the database and try to compare them now, thanks to we don't have to go based on anecdotal comments. We can actually go and look at the data, and the data shows the exact opposite. That in most dealerships, it's somewhere between 14 and 23% of their people that buy a car actually go back to get it serviced. Go to your service drive and take a look. Look at the license plate brackets. Look at the branding on the back of cars. How many of the ones that are waiting for service are actually yours? Now, some people will say, I did have a dealer say, well, that's just because we're able to cross out or cross-sell, and we're able to do some conquest for, we're getting a lot of people to come in. I'm like, no. Let's look for any that are yours. And we walked around the dealership, and it's like, wow, there's maybe one or two that actually bought their car here out of the 15 or so that actually bought their car here and also are having the car serviced. Unless they're taking off the brackets, and you put your license plate bracket everywhere. Why are we not seeing more of them? Why are there all these people? Why are there 20 people who bought their car here having their car serviced here as well? And the opposite is true as well. Okay, people will say, oh, yeah, I come to you guys. You're the closest Hyundai dealership, but no, I usually buy my car across town. Why? Well, they got a better selection, they got a better price. I like them better. My cousin works there. Whatever. Okay, all of these are excuses. These are you getting sold on the concept. You're either going to sell them or they're going to sell you. There's always a sale made, as some famous movie said at one point. So we're going to show you how to do that today. It starts with a change of culture. And this isn't just about talking to your customers. The very first thing that you have to do, if you really want to make this work, is you have to make sure that everybody understands, and that includes the staff. I remember the very first time, I shouldn't say first time, the only time I've ever gone paintballing. I might not have gone deep sea diving, but I have gone paintballing. That's me breaking out and doing something crazy, right? I did go paintballing, and it was with a dealership, and we were doing sales versus service, and the service guys, it was funny because we got demolished badly on the sales side. But service guys, they all had, not all of them, but a few of them, they brought their own guns, and they had their equipment and their own helmets, and they had skulls on their helmets. It was crazy. We're all just a bunch of fat sales guys. Huh? what do we shoot? And we got killed. But the bottom line is that there was a separation. There was no unity. It was sales versus service, just as it is every day at the dealership. And if there was more of a unity, and I'm not going to get into rah-rah about, team building, go do ropes courses or whatever. All I'm saying is that if you can explain that service can help sales and sales can help service, and make sure the company culture is geared around that, you'll be able to have a much greater chance of making this happen. If you're going to be have a service department, you'll go to every service department that's talking about oil change specials, and there's brake jobs and 30,000 mile checkups. There's all these things on the walls. You never see anything about sales. You never see sales promoted in the service department. That's a huge mistake. They're there. Anybody who's been in the car business long enough has seen that service customer. Oh, I'm just here in service. I remember. Well, I won't get into too many stories. I don't want to run out of time, but we've all heard about that person that was waiting in service and ended up trading in their car. That should be taken advantage of. That should happen much, much more often. Every single person, it should be a common practice. After oh, are you going to wait? Okay, so great. So this should only take about 30 minutes. Would you like to walk around the lot? It's a beautiful day. We can have somebody walk around the lot with you. Or why don't you go walk around the lot? Or, would you like me to get your car appraised? That's a very common one that we used to do at our dealership that works. I mean, it would sell an additional, probably 4 or 5, I don't even know how many, 10 cars a month just by asking. While we're, I see that your car is getting all the service done. While we're getting everything repaired, do you want me to have the sales department do an appraisal on your car? Very common and very, very beneficial, and it works. The opposite is true as well. Okay, we talk about, we got the best service department anyway, but it's a checkbox. When we're selling cars, it's kind of a checkbox. I'll make sure to mention service. Yeah, no, it has to be much more than that. You have to talk about service throughout the entire sales process. Use your service department as a selling tool. Oh, you'd be shocked. We certify. You're looking at certified pre-owned. I want you to know that it's not all created equal. That a lot of times, for the sake of cutting corners or saving costs or making more money or whatever, we've had to recertify some of our competitors before. Our service department is not only top-notch and the most experienced, but they also, blah, 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 blah. But come up with something unique, something that really, truly explains what your service department is all about, and hammer that home. Make sure, especially if they're buying a used car, you gotta tell them that not all service departments are equal, and that yours is by far, hands down, without a doubt, the best. They take care. Let me introduce you to the people. We'll talk about the service walk here in a second. Let me introduce you to the people that you're going to be working with. Assume the close, trial closes, all that good stuff. Apply service into it, because believe it or not, when a dealership has a strong and trusted and valid service department, it makes it much easier to sell a car there as well, because it's a convenience factor. I don't want to go into stories about that one either, because that would take forever. But I can tell you that it definitely does work. Make sure there's some sort of incentive. General managers, owners, dealer principals, there should be cross-selling happening. There should be a bonus of a structure of some sort. Hey, if the service manager, service advisor ask that question of, while you're waiting, it should be about an hour, hour and a half, and it looks like you're going to wait. Do you want to take a stroll around the lot? I can have a sales associate walk around with you. Maybe we can get your car appraised and see if it's worth trading in. Most of the time they'll say no, but if you ask 50 times, you're going to get 2 or 3 that say yes. And if you get 2 or 3 saying yes a week, you're going to sell 2 or 3 cars a month additional. So incentivize them. Make it to where they're going to get something out of it as well. And the opposite is true too. And that was a very long discussion about how to incentivize sales to promote service, but it can definitely be done. And no, it's not about, make sure they get their first free oil change and make sure they come in and you set the appointment and all that stuff. That should be, we're not talking about the basic stuff that every dealership is doing. If you want your customers to be loyal, show them something they've never seen before. Treat them in a way that they never expected and that they would talk about later. That's the reality of customer loyalty. I'm about to get into some tools, tactics, techniques that you can use, strategies, but at the end of the day, if you don't do these things right here, nothing that I show you is going to be effective. Okay, and that doesn't mean you have to make a huge change right now, or else the dealership's going to fall apart. No, but if you're really wanting to go to that low-hanging fruit, meet with the people, get the management staff together, and let's talk about this stuff. If you need somebody to yell at the dealer principal and make them understand why this is effective, I'll have Subi Ghosh call them. So no problem there. Last but not least, make sure that the service walk is not something where it's okay, yeah, here's the service department, thanks, walk away. It should be special. Show them something. Get the sales team to start utilizing a very powerful routine. Tell them something that's different about the service department. You know, if you've got a particular technician who's just really charismatic, or has been there for 35 years, or just is able to talk people's ears off, or should probably have been a salesperson or whatever. You know, I always had my go-to people. You know, whenever I was selling cars directly, I would actually take people into the service department. There was this one gentleman in particular over at Steve Bailey Honda that, I mean, he would practically sell the car for me. All I'd have to do is say, yeah, you know, Bob's considering the new Accord. Oh, the Accord's great. You know, I've been working on these Accords for 15 years, and you know, when they changed out the timing belt and replaced it with timing chain and blah 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 blah, you know, this is much better than the 24th, well, whatever. You get the point. I mean, this guy would just talk their ear off, and I mean, it did two things. First and foremost, I would always learn something new about the Accord or the Civic or whatever that I didn't know before. But secondly, it actually filled the customer with a sense of, okay, cool, well, these guys do know what they're talking about, you know. And it might be subliminal, it might be unconscious, it might not be even very noticeable at all, but it works. Okay, just make sure to make it special. Don't give them something silly. Another poll question, Eliana. Pacio.
Must you say my last name every time?
It just rolls off the tongue.
Oh, I'm sure it does. There's a lot of syllables in there. All right, audience. Hope you've been paying attention. We want to know which conference will your dealership be attending in the next 6 months. Now, for this one, select all the answers that apply. So, select multiple ones, all right? Please select which ones applied. Are you going to NADA, DSES, Driving Sales Executive Summit, the Digital Dealer 17, which I know I'm going to, or the Internet Sales 20 group, or are you going to none of those? Or maybe something else. Either way, I'm curious. Megan Bartow wants me to give her a shameless plug. She says, go to DSES and see my breakout session. And JD's breakout too. We're speaking at different times at DSES. Well, there you go. Thanks so much, Megan.
We can heckle each other.
Oh, is that what you do, JD?
No, I meant we can blog about each other.
That's exactly what he meant. Okay, Megan says precisely. All right, audience, thank you so much. Oh, and tweet. She said she would also tweet. Are you tweeting right now, Megan? JD, did you know that Megan Bartow has been voted fastest tweeter in the automotive space?
Oh, no doubt.
The girl's got mad skills, I'm telling you right now.
Oh, it's not even close. She tweets things from the future.
There's no possible way she could be doing it live. All right. Daryl wrote in. He says, what are those 2 sessions at DSES? Tell us, JD, what are you talking about at Driving Sales Executive Summit?
I'll be talking about hyper-targeting, how to utilize the social media secret weapon. We do social media. We obviously, there's a lot of talk today about social media. I think there's a ton of dealers that have not seen value in it, and it's because they're not taking advantage of the hyper-targeting. Social media is big. Focus on it being small, and that's where you get the real value.
Wow. All right. That sounds like an awesome session. And Megan Bartow also wrote in. She said she's going to be speaking about dealership culture and its effects on long-term sustained profitability.
Culture, culture, culture. We love it. and of course, DealerUn's Sean Raines will be speaking there.
Oh, he's
in a breakout session as well.
He's brilliant and funny, much like you, JD, I have to say.
Oh, I'm not so brilliant.
Subi wrote in, it's all about the culture. And Elmer, poor Elmer, he's not here in America. He says, why are all these great conferences on the other side of the ocean? I know the feeling, my friend. I feel the same way about shoe shopping in Italy. Why is it so far away? Never mind. Let's close this poll and share the results. We had it up there too long. Okay, 24% of today's audience said they're going to go to NADA. 24% said Driving Sales Executive Summit. 16% said Digital Dealer 17. 12% of today's audience said they're going to stop by the Internet Sales 20 group. And 32%, the majority, said none of the above. Well, there you have it.
Okay. Yeah, and here's the thing. Conferences aren't for everybody. And it is important to go to, I would say, 1, 2, maybe 3 a year. If you can make it to all of them, that's great. You know, but as long as you can get in touch with you know, and these are the reason that I list these 4. There's plenty of others. These are the 4 big ones. These are the ones where there's actual value being handed out at them, and the value is different at each. So I'm not going to go into the details. That's a whole other webinar.
No, but
But let's
I
continue.
feel like if you don't go to these or at least one conference, you don't know what you don't know. And when you go to these conferences, you'll see speaking sessions or something like that, or see a product that you didn't know was out there or didn't know somebody was going to be touching upon that
Certainly.
you didn't know you needed that information. So I hope to see you at some of those events, people. Thank you so much. I'm sorry for interrupting, JD. Please continue.
No, it's okay. Well, I was going to be speaking at a digital dealer, but my topic was going to be on big game hunting, and they checked my credentials and realized that I'd never gone big game hunting. So next year I'm going to try to go after spelunking. But
Spelunking, really. All right.
double whammy. So let's go into what are the programs, what are the things that you guys can do, and we're going to go through this quickly because this is the part. You have to focus on everything that I've said before any of this comes through. This part's the easy stuff. Okay, this is the stuff that these are the tangible stuff that you can do. And these are the things that we recommend. You can do a customer rewards program. There's several of them out there. OEMs are putting them out there. There's companies like oh, it's that one. We took a pitch from them a couple months ago, and I really liked what they were doing. Subi will write in and tell me what their name is. I can't remember their name. Remember Group. The Remember Group. That's right. The Remember Group. Nice guys over there. They have a very nice program. Does good stuff. Do email database marketing. This is the part where I have to give a slight warning. I'm gonna bunch these two together: email database and direct mail database marketing. These are things that I think that a lot of dealers are doing, but I would say that the vast majority are not doing it right. For those of you in the CRM world, I'm sure there's people from the CRMs who are in the audience listening. I'm going to say something, and don't hate me for saying this, but this is just how I feel, that pure CRM style drip marketing, I've never seen one that's truly effective, that really goes through and appends the data. Okay, we have the ability today take your database and improve it. And when I say we, I'm not talking about us at Dealer Authority. I'm just saying we as an industry. Big data is a big thing, and we're able to take that data and append it. We're able to improve upon it. We're able to take the data and actually make it to where it's more useful, to make it more up to date. This is something that needs to be done because there's nothing more annoying than wasting money or turning people off because the data is incorrect. It's not up to date. It's saying the wrong things. Things happen. There's reasons why people are buying cars sometimes 5 or 6 months after they bought their last car. Unfortunately, we are in a divorce-like culture, and so changes in jobs, changes in lifestyles, changes in what we're doing in the world need to be reflected in your data. More importantly, you need to be able to make sure that you're actually reaching the people. Now, with direct mail, it's a little bit more. There's not as much to worry about. But with email database marketing, who you select as your provider, and we know a few. I'm not gonna tout anybody directly here. Feel free to reach out to us if and we can talk to you about who we recommend. But if you're utilizing your CRM and say, okay, cool, well, I've got it set to where as soon as they buy a car, they get an email on week 2, and then week 7, and then month 6, and blah 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 blah. That's great, and it's better than nothing, but you're missing the boat. Okay, for not very much money, you can actually reach literally 2 or 3 times more people just by utilizing not necessarily just the strategies, but even just the better email delivery systems. It's so hard to get emails through nowadays. The spam filters are there. Gmail and Yahoo have both ratcheted it up to where they're protecting people, and it's great, but these are your customers, and you should be able to reach them. It's not like you're out there just spamming them. Okay, so being able to get that message out there is very important. The message needs to be, again, a customer-set message. It shouldn't just be, well, these are service customers, so we're just going to send them service specials. We're just going to mail them about, we're not going to mail them about the, direct mail them about the upcoming sale because they've been getting their service done here, but they've never bought a car here. They're customers. Try to turn them into customers. Turn them into Bigfoot, and now you have the ability to really have true customer loyalty. And then last but not least, Facebook database marketing. This is something where I keep, when we talk to dealers, it's like, wow, this is new. When did this start? It's, man, actually it started in 2010, 2011. Facebook, for all their powers and all their influence, they've done a very poor job of getting the word out about what they're able to do. You could take your customer database, plug it into Facebook, and and start putting the right message in front of people. We've done this for both service and sales. We've done this for that goal of getting the combined customer, and we've seen some tremendous results. The beauty of it is that it's a heck of a lot cheaper than most of these other things. And those, when we get to the question here shortly, that's what you'll be receiving if you want to answer the question properly, then or get the correct answer, then yes, you will be able to try this out for a month. It's fantastic. It's amazing, and and it just works wonders. So we'll go into details about that here shortly. Like I said, I was going to keep it short for this section, and that's about as short as it gets, Eliana. I don't think I can make it any shorter the way that as verbose as I am. So, what are the takeaways? And I'm going to leave this up on the screen. I want you to know that the primary takeaway is this: customer loyalty is not something that should be given up on. And I think that if you ask any dealership what they're whether they've given up on customer loyalty programs, trying to keep people coming back, trying to cross-sell, 99% would say no. We haven't given up on it. We still think it's there. But as far as the actual effort put into it, we've put so much time, money, and effort into getting those new customers, and that's great. I'm not saying take away from that, but there should be at least a little bit in your budget that you can squeeze out to focus on that low-hanging fruit. People aren't just going to come back to you. Okay, 2 years later, they barely remember where they bought their last car. The only reminder they have is probably their license plate bracket, and maybe because they've gotten a handful of follow-up calls or emails. So you got to stay in front of them. You got to make it to where they feel special, and they feel that they're important, and they feel that you are the right dealership to do business with them. And that does require constant communication. It requires making sure that you're differentiating your dealership and making sure that you're getting them in. If you can get them in for service, you have the ability to sell them a car. If you can get them in to sell them a car, you can get them to come back for service. I'll never forget. It was a very fun experience. This is the only story of the day, and I could tell bunches of stories, but I'll keep it short. I was witnessing. This is when I was just getting started as I was a used car sales manager, and I watched the general manager come over and was talking to me. He's like, "Hey, I didn't see Bob do a service walk, and he's over there writing him up." And so I was like, "Okay, yeah, I'll address that later. I'll make sure to yell at him when he's done." The general manager kind of gives me a dirty look, walks over to the desk, and introduces himself to the customer. Kind of interrupts right in the middle of the deal. Okay, and he asked, he says, "Hey, did you get to see everything? Did you see the service department? Talk to them?" I was like, "No." And the salesperson jumped in and said, "Oh, no, Bob lives in Tulsa. He's an hour and a half away. And we didn't think." And the general manager shot him just the ever so slightest, shut the blank up look. And he shakes the customer's hand. The customer stands up. They walk out to the service department. The general manager does the service walk. Then they come back in. Okay, they sell the car. The person buys the car, and I'm not kidding you. That customer was back in to get their darn oil change from an hour and a half away. Okay, 2 or 3 months later, and he made a point, and the point was this: is that this is important stuff. You can't skip it. It doesn't matter. They're out of state, great. So, well, next time if you are in the state again, then you'll want to know about our service department. Make it happen. Okay, this person came in. I remember they came in and bought tires, and it was just like that poor salesperson. Every time they'd come in, he just felt terrible. But you know what? He learned something that day, and he actually ended up becoming a very good salesperson. He was a mediocre long-term salesperson who knew everything, and I think that day might have changed his life. That guy might be a 30-car-a-month guy right now. Thanks to that one general manager teaching me a lesson, teaching that customer why they need to come back, and teaching that salesperson to never give up. All right. That's it. Ms. Raggio?
Thank you so much. All right, audience. This is the J.D. Rucker. So if you have a question for J.D. Rucker, the J.D. Rucker, then please write it on in. We are going to get to your questions in just a moment. Before we do that, however, we have a little bit of business to take care of. That's right. It's that time. If you missed it at the beginning of the webinar, Well, I announced that our good friends at Dealer Authority are going to be giving away an amazing prize today. One of you lucky webinar attendees is going to be winning 1 month of free Facebook customer loyalty advertising. It's a $550 value, and honestly, that's a great prize for your dealership. All you have to do is answer a simple question about today's presentation, and the first one to write in the correct response is going to win this awesome prize. So get to your keyboards, get ready, and good luck, everyone. I wish everyone could win, but they can't, alas. Now, I'm going to please ask that any vendors on the call, please sit this one out. This prize is only for dealership personnel who would like to try out this offering from Dealer Authority risk-free. Please do that for us, okay? Thank you so much. All right, audience, here we go. Good luck, everyone. Earlier in the presentation, JD said that the difference between a service customer and a sales customer is what? What is the difference between a service customer and a sales customer? Wow, I love it. Well, we do have a lot of, you know what? JD, just so you know, no one got the answer wrong. Just so you know.
Good.
No one got the answer wrong. I thought it was going to be hard for people to pick this one up. The very first person who answered the question correctly, David Sharp. And yes.
Perfect.
I love David. Really? Oh, okay, good. I love him too. He's on all my webinars. But he really was the first person to write in. And JD is the man, he said. David, write on in, because I keep forgetting what name of dealership you're from, but please write in.
I've got David.
Oh, yeah? Uh-oh.
Oh, yeah.
Subi's overriding you. She says, we can give another one away, too, says Subi. Subi's referring to herself in the third person. So, David Sharp is with the Elliott Auto Group in Mount Pleasant, Texas. And he is very excited to win this prize. Audience, if you would like another chance to win, all JD has to do is come up with another giveaway question real fast.
Oh, I've got a great question.
All right, you ask it.
Great question.
All right, good luck, everyone. Here you go. Here's your second chance to win the same prize. And just to remind you again, it's 1 month of free Facebook customer loyalty advertising. It's a $550 value. And I'm writing down David Sharp's name while JD Rucker is going to ask you your second giveaway question. Good luck, everyone.
So I think everybody by now knows that I've never gone skydiving. I've never gone deep sea diving. I've never gone big game hunting. But there was something else that I've never done before that I had mentioned a couple of times. What is that?
Oh my gosh, you are so funny. Gosh, JD, a lot of people have answered this question, and I honestly don't know the answer. Why don't you tell everyone what the answer is so I can look for the winner?
Well, one of the things I've never done before is spelunking. I've never gone spelunking before. And,
no one got that one wrong either, by the way. Everyone got it right. Congratulations, everyone. But the first person to answer that correctly is Daryl Merritt. Daryl Merritt, you are our winner, and I got to tell you, if I recall correctly, Daryl actually wrote the answer down before you even finished the question. So Daryl Merritt, congratulations. Please write on in and let me know what dealership you're from. And everyone, thank you so much. Boy, you should see some of these other answers that came in. Yes, you're right. He probably never did that either.
No, I've never seen a gladiator movie.
Oh, okay, interesting. Daryl Merritt is from Atrel, or I'm probably saying that wrong, Atrel, maybe, I don't know. Atrel Toyota Scion in Brampton, Ontario, Canada. Ooh, how exotic. Ontario is beautiful. Daryl, congratulations. David Sharp, congratulations. Thank you, everyone, for playing along today. We want to, of course, congratulate our 2 winners today, and of course, huge thanks to our good friends at Dealer Authority for their incredible generosity. All right, let's get moving on. Are you ready for a couple questions from our audience, JD?
Yep, absolutely.
Hey, if you feel like it, JD, you can also turn on your webcam. I don't know if you have it on or even if you've showered, but now would be a great time to turn on your webcam if you got one. All right.
Absolutely, but no.
Okay. Politely passing. Okay, James wrote in, and he says, it is important to have a trusted vendor or partner help you data mine your sales customer base to help promote service and target. Is there someone you would recommend for data mining?
Yes, and I will. Anybody who wants to answer that question, please let Eliana know, because that's one where, for the sake of, I did mention one vendor. I probably shouldn't have. We're trying to not alienate people, and we do talk to a lot. So yes, there's actually a couple that I recommend, and I would rather take that question offline if possible.
Okay, so what I would tell you, James, or anyone else there who'd like the answer to that question, get in touch with the Rucker, all right? It's JD Rucker at DealerAuthority.com. He may take a day or two to write back to you, but he will get back to you. Okay? All right, next question comes to you from Julio. I love that name. He says, I feel most people do not receive our emails. What do you suggest we do to reach out besides email? So Julio's not thinking email is the best medium for him.
Sure.
What would you
recommend? So when it comes to, absolutely, and this is the problem that plagues every dealership, not just when it comes to loyalty, but also when it comes to general marketing, conquest marketing, every variation of marketing in the dealership. Today we've gone to a multi-channel marketing platform. You're not going to bug people, okay? They're used to getting bugged. You're definitely not going to bug them by getting onto all of these different channels to try to reach them with your message. When it comes to customer loyalty specifically, we listed those options before, but one that I can say that probably has and this isn't just because this is our product, but when you take advantage of plugging your database into Facebook and reaching people through that methodology, your chances of reaching them go up so much higher, okay? And it has a double effect. So let's say that you have a post you're talking about, and these are unpublished posts. These don't go on your Facebook page, keep in mind. Let's say that you have an unpublished post that's just targeting your database, and you're able to put out, for example, a customer appreciation post with a $19.99 oil change or whatever. It's not just an opportunity for them to click through and to do business with you. It's also an opportunity for them to like it, to even share it, and believe it or not, they do. I think I was shocked by how often this happens. Long story short is that unlike email and direct mail, when you do utilize Facebook for this specific reason, you're able to allow the people to help you to reach even more people. So when it comes to what do you do with email? Yeah, most people aren't getting your email, so you have to pick the right email provider. You have to sometimes even switch it up. You have to make sure you're utilizing somebody who's using multiple servers, potentially using multiple domains. There's a plethora of strategies that you can utilize for email marketing. Junk mail or direct mail, people rip on. It is still effective. I don't care what anybody says. And we definitely don't sell anything with direct mail. But if I was a dealership today, I would still be taking advantage of it because it does work. The other methods that are out there, the other things that are available, you can, as far as going after your customers and your customer database, those three are the primary methods. There are other ways to do it, but if you're doing all of them, then there's a good chance that you'll reach the majority of people, over 50%, maybe over 80%, who knows what the exact number is, but you'll be able to reach the majority of them one way or another. Now, if you reach people through all three methods, there's nothing wrong with that. Again, don't worry about bugging them. These are your customers. For every one person that you offend because you're annoying them, you're going to get 10 people that you're reminding to do business with the dealership. So take advantage of it. That's not to say that you should send weekly emails to them, but it does mean that you do need to participate. You need to make sure that you're staying in communication with them. Make your emails as strong as possible. And that's the reason why, Julio, that's the reason why I mentioned don't utilize your CRM for that. Because your CRM, the emailing through the CRMs are usually the easiest way to make sure that you definitely get into the spam filters. Utilize true professional email-only marketing companies to take advantage of, because that's how you're going to get through the spam filters and you're going to reach more people.
Great answer. Now, Julio, if you have a follow-up question for JD Rucker, hey, please write on in and let me know what it is so we can pose it to him, all right? Your next
Sorry
question.
about my calendar popping up.
I was wondering why you did that. I thought you were going to show us something. All right.
Oh no, my it popped up and I answered the question with my eyes closed. I opened it up and I was like, oh my gosh.
Are you talking again with your eyes closed? All right.
I always answer questions with my eyes closed. It's sad.
I did not know that. All right. By the way, Subi wanted me to tell everyone on the webinar that if you have a question, hey, also CC Subi at dealerauthority.com. That's S-U-B-I at dealerauthority.com. And she'll be able to help you out as well. All right?
Much faster, too.
Yeah, she's pretty fast. Okay. Next question comes to you from one of our winners today. Daryl wrote in, what are some loyalty providers that you would recommend? We're in the middle of changing our entire loyalty structure, and we could really use the help. JD?
Yeah. So, and again, I'm not trying to be evasive at all, because let me explain a little bit. So it's not just about, it's not just about relationships with our company and other people. We don't have it. We don't have a reseller agreement or referral agreement with anyone. So I want to be clear that it's not just a matter of us steering people towards things that are going to benefit us. We get no benefit at all, regardless of who you pick for email, customer loyalty programs. The reason that I don't want to mention them on air, again, is because I want to make sure that you're getting the right one for you. There's plenty of them out there, but to just throw out names wouldn't be responsible for me, because there's a lot of people, there's a lot of different situations that require different solutions. Okay, I could think of 3 email providers off the top of my head that we've seen. Our dealers have worked with them. We've worked with them in the past, and those email providers, one would have worked for one dealership but not for the other. Simply because there's, yes, they get through the spam filters, but they charge about twice as much. So if you have a database of 3,000 and they're perfect, if you've got a database of 60,000, it might make more sense to reach maybe a slightly smaller percentage of people, but be able to save a couple grand while doing it. So it is a situational thing. I'm not being evasive. The reason I'm holding off on answering questions like that is because we need to look at your entire, what your situation is, and then we can match you up with the right people. And again, I can't stress this enough. We do not have any agreements in place that we don't get paid for anybody that we recommend for these things. We have certain partners that we get paid on. When it comes to loyalty marketing, there's none. So we'll match you up with who we feel will be best. Basically, if I was running that dealership based on the circumstances you tell me, who would I be utilizing based on the knowledge that I've acquired over the years on the vendor side? So that is a personal. It's a much more direct question to ask, and I'm happy to answer it directly. And obviously
No.
we'll be in touch.
That was a great soft shoe, JD. Daryl wrote back like 2 minutes ago. He's like, I can take it offline. That's all right. And Subi, she also said, yeah, what we can do is get with Daryl one-on-one, and we would evaluate based on your needs and set you up with whoever you need. And Subi keeps writing to me a lot, so I'm just going to unmute her and see what happens.
Ooh.
Subi, you there?
I am.
Hi, Sue. Just thought I'd say hi to you.
Hi.
Okay, your next question comes to you from John. You're going to get the same answer that you just got twice already. John said, who's the least expensive but best email provider? So I'm pretty sure, John, that JD is going to tell you to contact him directly. And
no. I guess that's one. No, that's one. So as long as everybody understands that the answer to this question, again, I'm not saying go run out and do it. It's important that you understand you do need to assess your situation. As far as some of the cheapest out there, I hate to say it, most of the if you're going to go the cheap route, the non-automotive ones, like iContact, for example, are the best way to go. Okay, if you've this is just for pure database marketing, and it has to be an opt-in database. In other words, you will need to prove to them that you own, that you didn't just buy this list, okay, or that it wasn't harvested or scraped or anything like that. And this should be pretty easy. If this is your customer list, then you just send them the database, and they'll be able to look at it, and you explain to them what the list is, and they'll be able to work with you. So there's iContact. SendGrid is not the cheapest, but they're not bad at all. There's the one with the not MailChimp, the other one. Anyway, so those are a couple of ones that are that are out there relatively big, but they're outside of the automotive industry. But as far as saving money, you can utilize them. Now the bad part is you have to craft your own messages, and this is the part where working with an automotive specific provider can help you because they've got the data. They know what works and what doesn't. So if you're just out to save the money, it's great to use these other services, but make sure that you know, you have to test. You have to make sure that you're going out there and maybe getting advice. Maybe, you know, people say, well, can somebody send me email templates? Email templates are worthless. Okay, you know, for CRM follow-up, they're effective, and I do agree with utilizing them. But when it comes to the customer loyalty follow-up, this is where you're running actual campaigns. This is where you're running it in bulk. I'm not saying that you don't use scripts for or templates. You know, the Joe Web templates, for example, great templates. They work out very wonderfully. But when you, as far as customer loyalty marketing and hitting your database, it's not a template thing. This is a matter of trying it, testing it, and having a hierarchy of this usually works in this region based on this brand. That's where the automotive providers, most of them, have the advantage, and that's why they usually charge more than like an iContact or anything like that. So I can answer that one. That's easy.
Okay, good. All right. John, thank you so much for the great question. Let's get to these last handful of questions here. Other winner, David Sharpie. He says, do you find that emails sent out of the CRM have less opportunity to make it to the customer's inbox? We've had issues with that recently.
Yes, I do not recommend sending emails, bulk emails. You know, being in contact with your customers. There's an advantage of the CRM is designed to maintain a one-on-one relationship, and so when you have somebody that enters in the CRM by utilizing that email process to get in front of people, you can have a one-on-one direct conversation with them, and it gets logged. So that's so super important to take advantage of the logging capabilities of emailing through your CRM. However, when it comes to bulk emails, customer database emails, conquest emails, anything like that, you don't want to send it out through the CRM. It does not, you know, and again, I'm not trying to rip on CRM providers. This is across the board. They are designed for, you know, getting that one-on-one. Do they have bulk mail capabilities? Absolutely. Are they good at it? They can't be, because think of it like this. Because you're sending, and this is just, you know, little email, whatever, tech behind the scenes stuff. These are all being sent out from the same server or server base, you know, and so your emails are being judged based upon everybody else in that CRM and anybody else who's utilizing that CRM. If you've got people out there, and you do, no matter which CRM you're using, if you've got other dealers out there that are going out and buying lists of 150,000 people in the Baltimore area and, you know, cold emailing them, just, you know, spam, basically, if you've got people that are spamming on that network, that's why these CRM companies, that's why the emails stop getting through, because they start losing trust, the trust factor within, you know, especially Gmail, Yahoo, some of the majors. So by utilizing, that's why iContact, SendGrid, a lot of these other companies, the ones in the automotive industry as well that specialize in email, they're very particular about who they're sending out to and what the message is. They screen everything, and they make sure that because the most important asset they have is their ability to get into inboxes and to get eyeballs. So yes. For direct conversation, CRM's perfect. For bulk conversation, you got to use an email provider that specializes in that sort of thing.
Agreed. Okay, David, great question. Thank you so much for your question, and he already wrote in an excellent answer, so thank you so much for that. All right. Next question comes to you from Paul. Paul says, have you ever tried a points rewards style program like airline rewards programs, and if so, do you feel that they work?
Yeah. So these weren't available. Trying not to date myself, but you know, back in my days when selling cars, these weren't readily available. Okay. We have talked to a couple of providers. I'd already mentioned one who, looking at the results and talking to well, not talking to, but hearing about. I haven't interviewed the dealers that are utilizing it, but looking at the case studies that they provided and the information that's out there, yes, I would say that it definitely does have a benefit. Since I already mentioned, I'll go ahead and say it. Remember Group is the one in particular that kind of stood out to me. I don't know, and Subi, I think you know of one as well. Since I already opened the can of worms on recommending those things, wasn't there another one that you'd looked at in the past, maybe, or I don't know, maybe there wasn't.
Subi, you there?
The point system, yeah. I've worked with Dealership for Life before, and I have a contact that we can get to people who want to look into them as well.
And I've never worked with them, but again, yes. So those two, and I'm sure there's many more out there. But those two, the results that we've seen, and again, not firsthand and not even secondhand. This isn't even dealerships recommending them. This is listening to what they do. Well, I guess Subi's used them before. Did you actually use that one, Remember for Life, or whatever it is?
I did.
Okay.
I use them. They create an entire system dedicated to your style as a dealership, and the points are based on what you want to put points on, and people can log in and take a look, and the customers really appreciate being able to track and monitor it. There's a few out there, and we can compile all of them and get them back to whomever's interested. Just email me at subi@dealerauthority.com, and we can get those to you.
Perfect.
Oh, thank you so much. All right, Paul, I hope you take advantage of that. Thank you so much for the great question. Okay, Julio wrote in. He says, thank you so much, JD. Fantastic advice. Much appreciated. And greetings from New Jersey. Hey, Julio. Okay.
I love New Jersey.
Yeah. Elmer wrote in. He says, do you have a few prime examples of incentives on sales for service?
Yes. So it's not about incentives. So I want to make that clear. It's a great question. It's an extremely important question. If there's any Acura dealerships out there, the TLX is getting some mad buzz across the board. If there's any Mazda dealerships out there, anybody who was watching the release yesterday, I think it was it the Miata? Something got released. You're not trying to put out sales incentives. You know, when you get the slides, you'll notice I'm talking about promotion. Okay, in the service department, you know, the goal there is that they're sitting there, they're on their smartphone. 95% of them are on their smartphone, looking around. Okay. All it takes is planting that seed. You know, I see that you're in the you brought in your '04 Odyssey. Looks like it's still doing great, but you know the 2015 Odysseys are pretty slick, and they've even got a vacuum in the back. If you haven't checked them out, you should. That little planting of the seed, promoting sales. That's all you want to do from the service department's perspective is ask the question. You don't want to say, oh, we've got this great sales, incentives, money back, cash back, you know, 0% No, it's nothing like that. This is all about they're there, their car is broken, you're going to fix it, but while you're fixing it, at least plant the seed that, hey, you could get it fixed, or you could drive away in a brand new car, you know. I mean, it's just about making sure that you have promotional material out there. You know, you get this promotional material, everybody puts in the showroom. Why would you put it all in the showroom? Okay, if they're in the showroom, they already know. They're already trying to buy a car from you. You don't need to convince them any further. That you convince them with the cars themselves. Take that promotional material, that stand-up, that poster, whatever, and put some of that in the service department. So that as people are sitting there on their smartphones, they're thinking to themselves, that TLX is actually kind of attractive, you know. And I think, subconsciously, yeah, isn't that weird commercial that was on? Yeah, let me take a look. So they pull out their smartphone, their iPad, whatever. They start looking around. The next thing you know, they're like, I'm gonna when the car's let me know, I'm gonna take a walk around the lot, you know. And then of course the properly trained service advisor, well, would you like me to have somebody available to answer questions? And they'll 9 out of 10 will say no, I just want to walk around. And they'll hit the lot, and then of course somebody will walk up to them and say, oh no, I'm just waiting for service. And if they get a hold of a real salesperson, or if I should say a real salesperson gets a hold of them, that little planted seed can very easily turn into, oh well, no problem, I'm here, that's great, get your car serviced. What kind of car are you getting serviced? Blah, blah, blah. Do you want me to have that appraised? Or have you looked at the new TLX? And that's enough. That's enough. Well, no, actually I haven't. Well, while you're waiting, why don't you, let's go for a quick test drive. I'm not saying you can trade it in today, but what if you trade it in a month, 2 months, next year, whatever? It's good to have that, kill two birds with one stone, since you're stuck here anyway waiting for your car to get serviced. That's how sales are made. I've made more money off of stuff like that when I was selling cars than taking ups. I'm a terrible car salesperson. If I had to rely on ups to sell cars, okay, I would have starved. My family would have gone broke. I was doing these digital things prior to the big digital explosion. I swear to you, if I if I ever needed to get out of this company and go back to the retail side, I could sell 30 cars a month, not because I have any sales skills whatsoever, but because taking advantage of customer loyalty, being fearless, make sure to cross-promote, this is what it takes to sell cars and to be 30, 40, 50 car person in the 21st century, in the digital age. Sorry, long answer to a very short question.
It was, but you know what? Elmer Roney said, great answer. It really is that simple. Thanks. So thank you so much for that. All right, Elmer, great question. Okay, last question, statement, comes from Catherine. She says, these are fantastic webinars. Thank you. I will now be checking out the Dealer Authority website. We have no customer loyalty program in place and are in serious need of one. Looks like they know where to point me to get me started. So thank you so much, Catherine. And with that, J.D. Rucker, I'm going to let you go and have a very well-deserved lunch. All right? You're in California, though, so it's really still second breakfast time for you, isn't it?
Yes, yes.
Second breakfast. Okay. Well, I want to let you know we're coming up. We're actually just past the top of the hour. Any questions that weren't answered during the time allotted will be answered by email later today. Also want to remind the audience that a link to download a copy of this webinar recording is going to be emailed to you later today for your reference. Please feel free to share it with friends and colleagues. And today's webinar is also going to be posted online within 24 hours. So simply go to dealeron.com/webinars and click on the link on the right-hand side for on-demand webinars. And there you can access any of our past webinars or sign up for some of our upcoming webinars too. And somebody's trying to ask me a question and I have no idea where it is. All right. Also, at the conclusion of this webinar in just a moment, you're going to receive a short survey. So please fill it out because we're always looking for quality feedback from our audience. Today we're going to randomly select a couple of people from all those completed surveys to also win some Google prizes. 2 people get to win, all right? But you have to fill out the survey to even be considered, all right? So please let us know what you thought of J.D. Rucker's performance today, all right? Also want to let you know, DealerUn is going to be at the upcoming Digital Dealer 17 on September 23, 24, and 25 in Vegas, baby. Stop by our booth 102. I'm going to be there. I'd love to meet you. You can also take the opportunity to check out some of our new responsive website designs. The new platform is called Chameleon. You'll see what the future of dealer websites will look like. Learn why Google recommends that your dealership's website be built on a responsive platform, and you can check out the sexiest darn dealer websites you will ever see. If you're going to be there at Digital Dealer, then make sure you stop by booth 102 and check out the future of dealership websites. While you're there, please also check out the speaking sessions from 4 of our best and brightest at DealerUn. You definitely don't want to miss them. And hey, invitations will be going out tomorrow for our next webinar, How to Beat Your Competition with a 360-degree Why Buy Marketing Plan. Automotive experts and thought leaders have loudly asserted that you can't have an effective marketing strategy if your dealership is without a clear answer to, why should I buy from you? However, most dealers have difficulties effectively delivering that message throughout all of their marketing channels. Is your dealership effectively leveraging its why buy message across all marketing channels? Well, if not, don't worry. Ben Kohler and Justin Brunn from Dynamic Beacon are here to help. This exciting 1-hour webinar, Ben Kohler and Justin Brunn will discuss how to best promote your why buy message with a comprehensive 360-degree marketing plan. They're going to cover in great detail the many ways dealerships can effectively brand, promote, and communicate their why buy message both online and in store. And by the end of this online presentation, attendees will have several specific actionable strategies to promote their why buy message. From email to the website to video and beyond, you'll know how to truly leverage your store's unique differentiator over your competition. So if you're ready to discover how to beat your competition by making a 360-degree why buy marketing plan, well then you simply can't miss this important presentation. Don't forget, DealerUn's weekly webinars are held every Thursday at 12 noon Eastern, 11 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Mountain, and 9 a.m. Pacific. We have some awesome webinar subjects planned for this year. But if you have any questions, comments, or suggestions regarding these webinars and our topics, contact me directly. I am everywhere on the web. Again, my name is Eliana Raggio. Find me anywhere online or email me directly at eliana@dealeruron.com. Thank you all so very much for spending this time with us today, and I hope to see you all on a future webinar in our continuing education series. Have yourselves a good one and enjoy the weekend.